Executive Board. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bishop Keith A. Butler.
Good evening. I am blessed tonight to have the honor of introducing Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator Graham is the senior senator from South Carolina, and he has been since his first day in office a steadfast champion of Israel. Throughout his time in Washington, Senator Graham has been one of Israel's most passionate and outspoken allies. And he has been a constant advocate for moral clarity in U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. And he has never wavered from his belief that America must be engaged in the world. When Israel has come under attack, Senator Graham has stood up for the Jewish state. And while some have denigrated America's support for Israel, Senator Graham has ardently backed the United States-Israeli relationship, and he's worked to strengthen it at every opportunity. And guided by his faith and with a firm understanding of the region's complexity, Senator Lindsey Graham is a great American, and he is firmly committed Christian Zionist. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the senator from the great state, Senator Lindsey Graham.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm from the federal government. I'm here to help you. Thank God you laughed. How about a round of applause for Michelle Bachmann? There is no better supporter, State of Israel, than Michelle. She's going to be speaking to you in the morning, and if we don't wrap this up, she'll be here all night. So how do you follow Reverend Hagee? How do you follow that man? How about a round of applause for his wife? She doesn't get the recognition she deserves. So thank you for having me. As to our honorees tonight, in 1995, I went to Israel with Sheldon Adelson and Miriam. It changed my life. I got to see for the first time what I'd read about in the Bible all my life. Have any of you been to Israel? Have you stood on the Golan Heights? Can you understand why Israel's worried about their security? To John Kerry and Barack Obama, how about this message to the Israeli people? When it comes to Gaza, stay as long as you need to stay, go where you need to go, and crush Hamas once and for all. Can you imagine, Michelle, what we would do if one rocket came from anywhere? What would our response be? And what would we say to the UN or any politician that told us to restrain ourselves? I can't say it here because this is a Christian gathering. And you can lose your religion in Washington if you stay long, so I'd leave as soon as I could if I were y'all. To the young people who came here tonight, God bless you. God will bless you. Social Security is running out of money. You're going to need God's blessing. But tonight is about honoring Israel. Isn't that the theme of the night? When you honor Israel, you honor a people and a government that believes in religious diversity. Since Israel has been in charge of the holy sites of the world, they're available to all of us. There was a day when you couldn't go. So we owe a lot to the Israeli government and people for allowing us to walk in Jesus' footsteps safely. When you honor Israel, as Pastor Hagee said, and that was a good history lesson, wasn't it? I tell you what, he'd be a good lawyer. He's a heck of a Baptist minister. When you honor Israel, you honor democracy. And he said something I hope you understood. An Arab woman serves in the Knesset. An Arab serves on the Supreme Court. Compare the fate of Arab women in Israel to other places in the Muslim world. Thank God for Israel on behalf of all the women who are lucky enough to live there. When you support Israel and when you honor her, you honor the rule of law, not the rule of the gun. In Israel, anybody can go to jail for abusing power. Just think about that. There's no elected leader in Israel above the law. The rest of that region, the law is no better than the potentate would allow it to be. When you honor Israel, you honor an ethical military, a military that tries to minimize civilian casualties, a military that puts itself at risk to make sure it doesn't hurt the innocent. I've been in the military in the U.S. Air Force for over 32 years. It's a privilege to serve my country, but I admire the Israeli military for having ethics that are worth honoring and compare their ethics to that of their enemy. Pray for the IDF. This is a bipartisan meeting. I'm sure there's a Democrat or one or two out there somewhere. There you go. God bless you. Got to get you right on taxes, but thanks for being here tonight. Israel is a free market economy, and some of the greatest innovations in technology are coming out of the smallest country in the world because of freedom. The freedom to think, the freedom to invest, the freedom to lose everything you have in trying to make something of yourself. That's worth honoring, ladies and gentlemen. And how many people in the Arab Muslim world would love to have a free moment, to speak their mind about their leaders, to start their business, and to speak out for their children if they're a woman? We're honoring the right people tonight in Israel. When you honor Israel, you honor the United States' best friend in the world. Not in the region, but in the world. When you honor Israel, you honor a nation blessed by God Almighty Himself. To the point, He put it in a book so anybody could read it in case they're confused. Here's a word of advice to America. Don't ever turn your back on Israel, because God will turn His back on us. Let's compare the people we honor tonight to the enemies of Israel. They defame other people's religious sites. They kill people who are religiously different. Go to Mosul today, and Christians are running out of their homes. They've been in for thousands of years with the clothes on their back, and the people Israel is fighting are the enemies of the United States as much as they are Israel. Be glad, be proud, and be thankful that you have a friend in Israel, and thank God every day that these radical Islamists can't come here as quickly as they can come to Israel. Please understand that our friends in Israel are surrounded by people who hate their very being and would kill everybody in that country if they could. And they would kill everybody in this room if they could, and the only reason they won't is because somebody's got to stand up to them. The enemies of Israel reject democracy. Good luck with a woman in that part of the world saying, I would like to tell you what I want for my child. Ladies and gentlemen, the differences between Israel and those who hate her are as stark as night and day and as clear as right and wrong. All I can say about the times in which we live in, I understand them, just as you do. I understand that the people who would destroy Israel would destroy us. They hate everything we stand for. Their hatred knows no bounds. And our country and our government needs to wake up before it's too late. Our job tonight is to stand with Israel without apology. No more apologies. There's no moral equivalence between Israel and Hamas. This is not a football game where you look at how many people have died to figure out who's right and who's wrong. More Germans died in World War II than American soldiers. That didn't make the Germans right. So this idea that Israel needs to restrain herself when she's being under attack has got to stop. That's why we're here tonight. Every politician in America has a phone number. Call them and tell them what you think. The reason we're here tonight, our job is to speak truth to power. Tell the United Nations, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. The United Nations is becoming one of the most anti-Semitic places on the planet. If a two-state solution is to be had, it will only be done when Israel says yes, not the United Nations. Your job here tonight is to make sure that people in my business understand that we should have Israel's back, and if we don't, you will not have their back. Our job is to continue to fund aid to Israel. Every one of you should be proud of the fact that through your efforts and Pastor Hagee, we have developed the Iron Dome with an American-Israeli collaboration. Every American taxpayer should be proud of the fact that your money went into a system that saved thousands of innocent lives in Israel, Arab and Jewish and Christian. And if we have a half a brain as a nation, which I hope we can get there soon, we will continue to fund the Iron Dome. We will continue to provide aid to the Israeli military. We will continue to have Israel's back. Finally, the most important job of this organization, of people in my business, and of the world at large, is to make sure that the Iranian Ayatollahs never possess a nuclear weapon. How many of you believe if the Iranians had a nuclear weapon, they would use it against Israel? How many of you believe that it would find its way to America eventually? Do you really believe that? Well, don't you feel a need to do something about it? That's why you came here tonight. But tomorrow, what will we do? Waving flags and singing songs is appropriate. Changing the world before it's too late is our mission. Without you, I don't know what me and Michelle would do. People are so war-weary. Don't you hear it everywhere you go? People are tired of being involved with the politics of the Mideast. Please remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Those who get tired of fighting for their freedom one day will lose it. Radical Islam is not tired. they're just starting. The only reason 3,000 of us died on 9/11, they couldn't get the weapons to kill 3 million of us. Do you believe they would kill 3 million of us if they could? They've never been closer to these weapons than they are today. We have a president who is detached from the reality of the times in which we live. We have a Congress that's adrift and doesn't want to do anything that's hard. We have an American people that are tired and want to look inward. We have a formula for disaster. The last time this happened, the Holocaust was the result. This time around, the Holocaust will include you. They hate us as much as they hate Israel. We're the big Satan. Israel is the little Satan. If you don't understand that, you choose not to listen. Just as they chose not to believe Hitler, we're choosing to marginalize and discount what our enemies have in store for us. But let it be said that Christians United for Israel chose another path. While there still is time, in conclusion, have you heard the statement, "Never again"? Do you understand why they say it in Israel? Do you understand why they mean it? Your mission, my job, is to make that statement a reality. And here's the truth. America needs Israel desperately. And here's the untold truth. As Pastor Hagee indicated, we need them as much as they need us. Because if they are eaten up by the wolves of terrorism, we are next. There is no distinction between our fates. We're tied to the hip. The day that we said all men are created equal, endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights, we made every radical Islamist mad as hell. The day we allowed people to choose their leaders and court of law to decide cases, not the most radical, vicious people on the planet, we became their enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, there's so much we can do and there's so much we must do. We must lobby the Congress, we must push our politicians, we must do many things. But the most important thing that I think we can do, must do, and will matter as much as anything else is pray for Israel. My political goal is to go to heaven and work backwards. Between now and the day that comes, and I meet my Maker, just as surely as everybody in this room will meet their Maker. When they ask you, what did you do with the time God gave you on earth, you can say, I sinned, I'm sorry, but when it came to Israel, I was there. God bless you.
From the great state of South Carolina, everyone, Senator Lindsey Graham. We do thank